Han Feng, a master slayer, is despised by people. But one day, Han Feng, who had the same name and surname, traveled to the Douqi Continent and became a disciple of Yao Lao. The wings of the butterfly have already fluttered, and the gears of fate have also begun to rotate. If Han Feng had not betrayed Yao Lao, what would be the direction of the story? What level of strength can Han Feng reach if he cultivates the complete version of Burning Decision? Keywords of the novel. Douqi Continent, starting from Han Feng with no pop-ups. Douqi Continent, starting from Han Feng, download the complete set of TXT, and Douqi Continent, starting from Han Feng, reading the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Han Feng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Han Feng, you have really disappointed me. Yao Lao's face was full of anger and he scolded, how can we go astray along the way of refining medicine? Han Feng, what benefits does overdrawing your talents bring to you? As a medicine master, would you still deceive you? Upon hearing this, Han Feng raised his head in confusion. Han Feng. Are you talking about yourself? Indeed, his name is also Han Feng. When you were 3 years old, your firewood attribute was already particularly prominent, and a thread of fighting energy was born in your body. As a teacher, I guided this thread of fighting energy to warm and nourish your whole body, which made your potential and talent perfect. Yao Qin gritted his teeth, his voice filled with suppressed anger. Although he saw his disciple learn and use this harmful medicine refining technique, Yao Qin did not intend to give up Han Feng, he wanted to bring him back to the right path. Who did you learn your current medicine refining technique from? This kind of medicine refining technique harms Tianhe and damages your talent. To be honest, how long have you been using this medicine refining technique? Listening to Yao Lao's words, Han Feng was about to speak when a strong sense of dizziness suddenly came to his mind. He stumbled and collapsed to the side, but before falling down, he could clearly hear Yao Qin sigh and catch him. Before falling into a coma, a lot of information flooded into Han Feng's mind, one belonging to him and the other belonging to Han Feng. Han Feng, your teacher has deceived you. He has a scroll technique called Burning Decision in his hand. This technique can make you a true strong person, and your future achievements will definitely surpass your teacher. Don't be fooled by Yao Qin. He didn't teach you Burning Judgment, which proves that you, as a disciple, haven't been taken seriously by him. Humph, teach your disciples, starve to death master. If medicine dust can teach you, I can also teach you. If medicine dust cannot teach you, I can still teach you. Have you made up your mind? Do you want to be my disciple to Mu Gu? As long as you kill Yao Qin, the burning will naturally belong to you. In the future, Mu Gu will serve as your teacher. How about that? Many memories that didn't belong to him. Han Feng felt his head ache again, but he often read novels and has a strong ability to accept things like traveling. Douqi, medicine refiner. Han Feng, medicine dust. It is obvious that he traveled to Douqi Continent and became Han Feng. Would the same name be enough to travel? Han Feng expressed that he didn't understand, but he just finished reading the novel, Douqi Continent, a few days ago and is still very familiar with the stories inside. Yao Qin is the teacher of Xiao Yan, the protagonist of this book, and his guide. He is a renowned medicine lord in the mainland, possessing the peak strength of Dozun and also skilled in refining medicine. And Han Feng is a complete villain. He colluded with outsiders and betrayed his teacher. Yao Lao treated Han Feng very well and prepared to teach him everything he had learned throughout his life, and let him inherit his legacy. As for the Burning Judgment, if it weren't for the danger of this technique, how could Yao Lao not teach Han Feng? Alas, I have become a villain through time travel, really. Before he could finish speaking, Han Feng seemed to have thought of something. He suddenly sat up from the bed, and the thin blanket covering his body slipped off to the ground. I am only learning the art of refining medicine from the Mu Gu old man now. I haven't done the act of killing the master yet, so at most, I can be considered the teacher's rebellious disciple. Everything is still in time. So, as long as I tell the teacher everything, they will naturally have a solution, but I need to shift most of the responsibility onto the Mugu elderly person. Not long after Han Feng woke up, Yao Lao walked in with a wooden bowl. Anyway, Han Feng is a disciple of Yao Lao who treats him as a parent-child. How could he be disappointed with Han Feng because of this kind of thing? Fenger, come and drink some medicine. That kind of medicine refining technique has caused too much damage to your body, but fortunately you haven't been exposed to that kind of medicine refining technique for too long. Teacher, there is also a way to recuperate here. The teacher has already written the prescription, but there are a few medicinal herbs that I need to personally search for. Let Gu Ling take care of you during this period. Feng Zun is Gu Ling, whose real name is Feng Xian. Because the Yin Yang Xian Long Dan, refined by Yao Chen, has entered the realm of Do Zun, Feng Xian changed his name to Gu Ling by using the homophonic sound of the two characters, Bone Spirit Cold Fire. Teacher, I have something to say. Han Feng also reached out his hand and said anxiously in his voice as he looked at the gentle and kind medicine elder. Does the teacher have an old friend named Mugu? Mugu. Why did you mention him? Upon hearing this, Yao Lao frowned and asked, did he teach you this medicine refining technique? That guy has ulterior motives, you need to carefully discern. Upon hearing what Yao Lao said, Han Feng quickly said, Teacher, I was previously influenced by Mugu Lao and almost made a big mistake. He said you have a martial art called Fenju, which is extremely powerful. Burning technique. That technique is not suitable for you, Yao Lao interrupted Han Feng and said seriously, Fenger, I will take you as my disciple and treat you as my own child. If the burning technique is really that simple, will I not teach you? That technique is too eerie and terrifying. It requires devouring a strange fire to become stronger. Moreover, if you want to cultivate the burning technique now and turn it from high to low, you must dissipate all your fighting spirit. If you don't burn your bridges, why bother practicing that kind of skill? Believe me, even if you don't have the burning technique, I will still train you to become the first alchemist in the mainland. Teacher. Han Feng's lips moved, and he could feel Yao Lao's innermost emotions, but he was not Han Feng. Taking a deep breath, Han Feng adjusted his mindset. He is now Han Feng, the disciple of the old man in front of him. What is he thinking so much about? Teacher, I know what you mean, Han Feng nodded and said in a deep voice, but from my perspective, I'm afraid there may be some other force that is interested in you. The Mugu old man wants to harm you through me, and there are also some other forces acting as pushers. Our master and disciple are now in danger. I just thought a lot. If it weren't for the teacher's timely reminder, I'm afraid I would have been tricked into becoming a traitor by the Mugu old man. Other forces. Yao Lao stroked his beard and frowned, saying, is it the Soul Hall? In this Zhongzhou, apart from the Soul Hall, there may not be any other forces hostile to me. Their purpose is to collect the souls of alchemists. The soul power of you, my master, and disciple is strong, and I estimate that they have long been targeted by the Soul Hall. Very good, Han Feng just wanted to bring Yao Lao's thinking to the Soul Hall, and then he can implement his own plan. Now that he has traveled to the Douqi Continent, what Han Feng wants is to become the Douqi. Teacher, can we compete with the Soul Palace? Listening to Han Feng's inquiry, Yao Lao smiled and comforted, Feng don't worry too much. I still have a few points of summoning power in this Zhongzhou. The reason why Soul Palace and Mugu Old Man deceived you is also because they don't want to have a direct conflict with me, the first alchemist in Zhongzhou. Teacher, I still want to practice Fenju. Please teach me. Han Feng pursed his lips, then knelt on both knees and lowered his head, saying, I want to gain powerful strength. The teacher knows that I am a strong and competitive person, and the harder it is to practice Fenju, the more interested I become. If it weren't for this, the disciples wouldn't have been tempted by the Mugu old man and almost done things they regretted for a lifetime. Please teach me, teacher. I am willing to practice the burning technique and will never regret it. Looking at Han Feng kneeling in front of him, Yao Lao's face became complicated, and it took him a long time to let out a sigh. Ah, since that's the case, I'll teach you the burning technique. After you have reviewed it, you can decide whether to practice it or not. Fenger, in fact, the teacher does not recommend you to practice this burning decision technique. Without this technique, the teacher can still cultivate you into the best alchemist. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Incineration and Execution. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Incineration and Execution. Looking at his disciple, Yao Lao's heart was filled with helplessness. He should have known for a long time that Han Feng was already a strong and competitive person. No matter how hard he tried to persuade him, he probably wouldn't give up on the burning decision. However, Han Feng is his disciple, and no matter what, as a teacher, he always takes responsibility for his disciples. Thinking of this, Yao Lao extended his finger and pointed it on Han Feng's forehead, and some information flooded into Han Feng's mind. This is the burning decision you want. I accidentally gained this skill, and the initial level was just an ordinary low-level yellow level. Burning Ju is a technique that can evolve, and you should know about the abyssal fire, right? The medicine refining world of Douqi Continent has included the now known abyssal fire in the abyssal fire list, with a total of 23 types of abyssal fire. The conditions for the evolution of Burning Ju are related to abyssal fire, because each evolution of Burning Ju requires swallowing one type of abyssal fire. You should know that the abyssal fire is inherently a violent thing, and it is even more difficult for each type of abyssal fire to blend with each other. Devouring abyssal fire to evolve martial arts is really crazy. As he spoke, Yao Lao let out a sigh and reached out his hand, and a strand of white flames jumped out. This fire is called Bone Spirit Cold Fire, and ranks 11th on the list of abnormal fires. If you really practice Burning Ju, I will pass on this abnormal fire to you as a teacher. This Bone Spirit Cold Fire is very friendly to me. If you really can't evolve after burning it, maybe I can use this Bone Spirit Cold Fire to save your life. Upon hearing what Yao Lao said, Han Feng lifted his head and said seriously, "Teacher, I cannot have your Bone Spirit Cold Fire. Abnormal fire is extremely important for every alchemist. As for the special fire required for practicing burning decision, the disciple wants to explore the continent while searching for it." "Ah, then I'll go with you as a teacher. You're my disciple, and no matter what happens, there's always a teacher." Yao Lao reached out and caressed Han Feng's head, saying kindly, "As for the Bone Spirit Cold Fire, if this burning decision is really useful, the teacher will hand over this strange fire to you. Teacher, before traveling to the mainland, we have one more thing to do." Han Feng adjusted his emotions and his voice became cold. "Mu Gu, the old man, calculated against my master and disciple. This matter cannot be solved so easily. What do you want to do?" Yao Lao asked. He's not a kind-hearted person either. Now that he's being counted on, he can't easily let go of Mu Gu Lao. Besides, he has had some grudges with Mu Gu Lao for a long time, and now he's settling new grudges and old grudges together. "Teacher, I can bring the Mu Gu old man over, and then you and Feng Lao can take action together to kill him." Han Feng's eyes flashed with a cold and murderous intent, and he said, "If Mu Gu old man has other helpers, it proves that there are other forces involved in this matter. When the time comes, we will clear up one by one." Upon hearing Han Feng's words, Yao Lao furrowed his brows slightly, as if there had been a significant change in his disciple's body. However, Yao Lao didn't think much. His soul perception was extremely excellent, and it was absolutely impossible for anyone to escape his perception and take away Han Feng's body. So, a big reason for this change is the instigation of the Mu Gu old man. Now, it seems that this Mu Gu old man is really Dan. As a good disciple, he has even changed his personality. Of course, he won't despise Han Feng. Feng Er is his disciple of medicine dust and has always been there. Okay, but it's still a bit dangerous for you to go alone to see the old man Mugu. Alright, the teacher will prepare some self-defense items for you first. Yao Lao pondered for a while, and he just thought of many prescriptions that could help Han Feng support the old man Mugu's hands for a few rounds. With a pill for self-defense, I am using Bone Spirit Cold Fire to add a layer of insurance to Han Feng. This way, even if Mugu old man discovers something abnormal, Han Feng will not be in too much danger to his life. Okay, thank you, teacher. Han Feng nodded and said. You child, why are you so polite to the teacher? Yao Lao chuckled and shook his head, saying seriously, Fenger, you don't need any psychological pressure. It's the Mugu old man who seduced you first, and everyone can't help but have evil thoughts. This is a normal thing, and the teacher won't be disappointed with you because of it. In fact, when you told the teacher everything, Fenger, the teacher was really happy, so even if you want to practice burning Jew, the teacher will still support you. Hee, indeed, people don't underestimate their youth. With a teacher around, Fenger can try things she's interested in, and everything has a teacher. After speaking, Yao Lao shook his head in admiration. The child had his own ideas, which was a good thing. As a teacher, he only needed support. After Yao Lao left the room, Han Feng also sat back on the bed and needed to make a plan. Practicing Fenju requires a special fire, and his current advantage is knowing the news of the special fire. Qinglian Earth Heart Fire, you can search for it in the Tagore Desert. By the way, Queen Medusa will evolve into a colorful sky-swallowing python, which is an object that can be attracted. Xiao Yixian, it's better to gather the Ernan poison body as soon as possible. With the medicine in hand, the Ernan poison body can quickly become usable combat power. By the way, there are also green scales, blue snake 3-flower pupils, and such geniuses cannot be spared. In terms of abnormal fire, Canaan Academy has fallen heart inflammation and cannot be snatched by force, because the Dean of Canaan Academy is a member of the Thunder Clan and is not easy to deal with. However, there is also a juvenile fallen heart inflammation under the Tianfen refining tower, which can be taken out for exchange. San Qianyan Yanhua needs to participate in Danta's alchemy meeting and also needs the help of Xian. As for Haixin flame, Han Feng's eyes were dim. This Haixin flame belonged to him, and even if he traveled across the continent, he would still have to take this strange flame. The most important thing is the residual images of the pure lotus demon fire, which cannot be ignored. First, go to the Gamma Empire, get those residual images, and then return to the Black Horn domain. Having made a simple plan for the future, Han Feng checked his current strength and felt a surge of joy in his heart. Sanqing Do Huang, Han Feng's talent is indeed a demon. With the memory of former Han Feng, now Han Feng can also be considered a local of Douqi Continent. Moreover, the medicine refining techniques learned by former Han Feng are deeply imprinted in his mind. The next thing to do was to read the content of the burning decision. Han Feng suppressed his excitement and carefully examined the burning decision in his mind. Sigh, this burning decision is really dangerous. It devours the strange fire, and you will have to suffer in the future. Han Feng shook his head, but he didn't regret it. The journey of cultivation was always about competing with people and heaven. If he was afraid of his hands and feet, how could he become a great weapon? As for Xiao Yan, without Yao Lao, he is probably still the genius young man from Wutan City. Maybe he will marry Nailan Yanran in the future, which is not something Han Feng considered. Now, Han Feng is the only disciple of Yao Lao, and he is the only one who cultivates the burning decision. However, we cannot completely ignore Xiao Yan. After all, there is still a portion of the Tuasha ancient emperor Jade in the Xiao family. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Mugu, Soul Palace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Mugu, Soul Palace, Teacher, I'm ready. Han Feng looked at the medicine elder and the wind venerable in front of him and said in a deep voice, I'm going to take the Mugu old man to the valley where you usually refine pills. Always claiming to be a disciple inevitably feels too unfamiliar, so Han Feng still identifies himself as me and Fenger. Fenger, pay attention to safety. Yao Lao's eyes were full of worry, and he instructed, if Mugu Lao's old miscellaneous hair sees through your plan, don't hesitate, immediately crush the space jade slip, and Gu Ling and I will arrive immediately. Teacher, don't worry. Han Feng smiled and raised the misty white ring in his hand, saying, with the teacher's bone spirit in cold fire defense, Mugu old man can't harm me, let alone the many pills you have refined. Maybe I can still use a few moves on Mugu old man's hand. Fenger, don't be too careless. Mugu old man is a strong warrior at the Dozun level, and a careless one can cause big problems. Feng Zun solemnly said on the side, if there really is a fight, he may not be a match for Mugu old man now. After all, Mugu old man is still an 8th grade alchemist, and his soul power is very strong. Teacher, Feng Lao, don't worry, I'm going. Han Feng arched his hand and behind him appeared a pair of pale blue fighting wings, flying out of the valley. Han Feng is currently using a type of beast fire, and the light blue fighting spirit wings are also due to this beast fire. The origin of this beast fire is not simple. It is taken from the body of the 7th level Warcraft swallowing sea whale, and it is somewhat similar to the sea heart flame. Han Feng, have you made up your mind? The old man Mugu looked at the young man in front of him with a look of surprise on his face. Is it because he has a high regard for this disciple of Yao Chen? Just upon learning the news of the burning, he made up his mind to betray his mentor who raised him. Originally, the old man Mugu planned to deceive Han Feng for a while longer. I never expected that he would be able to complete his plan so quickly now. As long as he dedicates the soul of Yao Chen to the Soul Palace, he can get a very good position. I have made up my mind, Master. A few days ago, I asked the old immortal about the news of Burning Jew, but he remained silent and even said that Burning Jew is not suitable for my cultivation. Han Feng's voice was cold as he gritted his teeth and said, what's not suitable for me to cultivate? I think that old and immortal person has some reservations about me. Teach disciples, starve to death master. I think that old immortal is afraid that I will surpass him. With my talent, can't I still practice Burning Jew? Upon hearing this, the old man Mugu burst out laughing and cursed inwardly at the wolf cub he was not yet familiar with. Yao Chen treated him like a child, and if he were betrayed by Han Feng, he would probably be heartbroken. Yeah, Han Feng, let me teach you from now on. Yao Chen, that old immortal, is not sincere to you. After speaking, the old man Mugu couldn't even hold back the corners of his mouth. It was so easy, he could easily incite the disciples of Yao Chen. After he kills Yao Chen, he will definitely clean up Han Feng easily. This son is too ruthless, even his close relatives can take action. Okay, the old immortal is currently refining a pill of high quality. If it is interrupted, it will definitely suffer serious backlash. This is the right time for us to take action. Han Feng stood up and said in a deep voice, the opportunity is not to lose, it will never come again. I have already had a second heart for that old immortal. If it were discovered, it would be a bad thing. Fenju, I am determined to win. Old immortal said I cannot practice Fenju, so I insist on practicing it for him to see. Okay, let's take action now. The Mugu old man stood up with a smile. As a Dozun powerhouse, he naturally didn't need to use Douqi's wings. Soon, Han Feng and Mugu arrived at the valley where the medicine elder lived. A very strong Dan fragrance, did that old guy finish refining it? Upon smelling the fragrance of the pill, the old man Mugu no longer doubted it. He quickened his pace and threw Han Feng behind him. If the old man's pill was refined, he would not have the opportunity to launch a surprise attack. Moreover, Mugu Old Man is also an 8th grade master of alchemy, and through the fragrance of the pill, one can also determine which step the alchemy has taken. This fragrance is clearly a precursor to becoming a pill. Watching the old man Mugu improve his speed, Han Feng just shrugged his shoulders. Anyway, the teacher was prepared, and Mugu was likely to fall into his own trap. There was no need for him to go and cause trouble. If he were caught by Mugu and used to threaten Yao Lao, it would not be beautiful. So, Han Feng calmly landed in a safe location. The anxious Mugu old man naturally did not notice Han Feng's abnormality. In his opinion, it was normal for Han Feng, who only had the power of Emperor Do, to not catch up with his speed. Moreover, Yao Lao is currently refining pills, and if we wait any longer, there will inevitably be unexpected events. Ha ha ha, Yao Chen, your deadline has come. Hand over the burning verdict. The figure of Mugu's old man appeared in a cave, and the elixir just now was transmitted from inside the cave. Now thinking about it, it's really Yao Chen who is seeking his own death. He insisted on living in seclusion with Han Feng in this valley. If Yao Chen and Han Feng lived in the Star Meteor Pavilion, how could he have the opportunity to admire the bone elderly man? If it weren't for your dear disciple Han Feng, how could I have found such a good opportunity? The old man Mugu looked at Yao Chen sitting in front of the medicine cauldron and laughed loudly. Yao Chen, how does it feel to be betrayed by his disciple who sees him as a parent-child? You really raised a white-eyed wolf. Just because of a burning execution, your disciple betrayed you. Even the old man feels wary of this child's ruthlessness. Don't worry, after you die, I will also send Han Feng down, and then you two, the master and disciple, can still be companions. Gu Ling, this old man slandered Feng Er. What do you want to do? Yao Chen turned around, and the young pill inside the medicine cauldron was immediately burned to ashes by the bone spirit's cold fire. He, then let's kill it. This Mugu old man has bewitched Feng Er, and the crime cannot be punished. Feng Zun appeared at the entrance of the cave with a smile and slowly said, Feng Er will not betray us. He is a good child. I was tricked, Han Feng lied to me. Mugu's face changed. Can he still not know what happened now? Han Feng never betrayed Yao Chen, everything was just a trap to lure him over. However, he was not without a trump card, without any hesitation. The old man Mugu took out a space jade slip from the ring and squeezed it with force. This medicinal dust has been prepared for a long time. Please ask the Soul Hall Venerable to help. As the words fell, a spatial crack appeared next to the old man Mugu, and two figures shrouded in black mist walked out of it. Jia, Yao Chen, long time no see. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Black and White Heavenly Sovereign Retreats, Mugu Falls. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Black and White Heavenly Sovereign Retreats, Mugu Falls Soul Hall, it is indeed you. It seems that my soul is very attractive to you. Seeing these two figures shrouded in black mist, Yao Lao's face also became solemn. If there was only Mugu, he would not be afraid at all. But if faced with the Soul Hall, which is the hegemon of Zhongzhou, even if he is a renowned medicine lord on the mainland, he still doesn't have much confidence in his heart. Jia, Yao Chen, the palace master is very interested in you, the first alchemist in Zhongzhou. If you join our soul palace, your status will not be weaker than mine. As the words fell, the black mist slowly dissipated, and two old men appeared in front of the medicine elder. These two elderly men were dressed in black and white robes, with a calm expression on their faces, and slowly said, become the heavenly sovereign of the soul hall or be taken back to the soul hall by the two of us in the form of soul bodies. You can choose one. The black and white heavenly sovereign of the soul palace, oh, you really look down on me. Yao Lao and Feng Zun exchanged a glance. This black and white heavenly sovereign is the pinnacle of the 7-star Do Zun strength, which is not difficult for Yao Lao to deal with, but they must always be on guard against the black and white heavenly sovereign calling the strong ones of the Soul Palace again. Gu Ling, I'll leave the Mu Gu to you. Upon hearing what Yao Lao said, Feng Zun nodded with a smile. Both he and Mu Gu were the strength of the 3-star Do Zun. Even if Mu Gu's soul power was strong, it was impossible to quickly defeat him, and the two would not be able to determine the winner for a while. For Yao Lao, it won't take long to defeat the black and white heavenly lord. Mu Gu deceived your soul palace, otherwise it wouldn't have been the two of you who came today. Yao Lao's face was cold, and with a wave of his hand, the terrifying spatial fluctuations emanated, sealing off the cave. I have already surpassed the peak of the 9-star Do Zun. Since you two have come, let's stay forever. What? Mu Gu, are you playing with us? Feeling the terrifying aura of Yao Lao, the calm expression on the black and white heavenly lord's face disappeared instantly, and he angrily said, "Didn't you say that this medicinal dust has just broken through to the 7-star Do Lord? He, I have been living in seclusion with Maple in this valley for a while now. My cultivation mentality has become calm, and the speed of my strength improvement is naturally not slow." Yao Lao sneered and asked in response, "I am the medicine master. Do you think I won't be able to use the pill that assists in cultivation? As for the so-called 9 transformations into saints, it may not be too difficult for this medicine Venerable, not good, this medicine dust has reached the peak of Dozuan now, and it's not something we can match anymore. The only solution now is to withdraw." The black and white heavenly Zun exchanged a glance, both of them were at the peak of the 7-star Dozuan strength, and using some means could escape the space blockade of medicine dust without giving the black and white heavenly sovereign time to react. The medicine elder's body erupted with a powerful fighting spirit, and the bone spirit cold fire instantly filled the entire cave. "Damn it, Mu Gu, it's your fault for what happened today. It's not that we two went against each other, so you should seek more blessings." The black heavenly lord decisively took out a silver-white space jade slip from the ring. This is the space jade slip refined by the saints in the Soul Hall, and only those who have made great contributions to the Soul Hall are eligible to obtain it. Alas, unfortunately, the Saint Do of the Soul Hall is unable to act due to some rules. Otherwise, how could the black and white heavenly lord give up so easily? Crushing the space jade slips, a palpitating aura emanated from everyone present. Feeling this aura, the Wind Venerable immediately shook off his Mu Gu and his figure instantly flickered next to the medicine elder. "This is the aura of the Douqi powerhouse. What should we do now?" "Don't panic, the Douqi powerhouses in the Soul Hall won't be so idle. The competition for our Douqi level won't be seen by those powerhouses." Yao Lao comforted the Wind Venerable, and his heart was also a bit nervous. If there were really Douqi powerhouses in the Soul Hall appearing, he would have to run. However, with the help of the black and white heavenly sovereign, would one be eligible to call the saint fighting mighty one? Obviously, the black and white heavenly sovereign did not have the ability to summon the saint fighting strong. A pitch-black space wormhole instantly swallowed the black and white heavenly sovereign, and their breath slowly dissipated. In the cave, apart from the medicine elder and the wind sovereign, there was only Mu Gu left. I knew that the Douqi powerhouses in the Soul Palace wouldn't easily take action. Those powerful forces would be limited by other powerful forces, and the ancient 8 tribes were monitoring each other. The Soul Palace, as a soul clan, naturally couldn't avoid this restriction. The old medicine man breathed a sigh of relief and then looked at Mu Gu with unfriendly eyes, coldly saying, "Your helper has already run away. Next, I will use Bone Spirit Cold Fire to refine your soul and let you truly fall here." As the words fell, the medicine elder joined the Wind Venerable's attack. After a few breaths, the Mu Gu elder lost his resistance and fell to the ground like a dead dog. The current Mu Gu is just a 3-star Do Zun. How many rounds can he persist in the hands of the medicine elder? Even compared to soul power, Mu Gu Lao is far from being a match for Yao Lao. Pulling the somewhat illusory soul of the Mu Gu old man out of his body, Yao Lao expressionlessly used the Bone Spirit Cold Fire to burn it into a void. Let's go out and find Fenger. Mu Gu has already fallen, and the next thing we need to be careful of is the Soul Hall. Yao Lao patted Feng Zun's shoulder and said slowly, I want to accompany Fenger on his travels to the mainland. The Star Meteor Pavilion can only be entrusted to you. If there's any trouble, just crush this jade piece and I'll come back in time. Upon hearing this, Feng Zun nodded with a bitter smile. This old man wanted to be the shopkeeper, but for so long, hasn't he been the sole manager of the Star Meteor Pavilion? However, the development of Star Meteor Pavilion still relies on the title of Yao Lao, the first alchemist in Zhongzhou. At least many guest elders joined Star Meteor Pavilion because of Yao Lao's reputation. Alright, I should go see Fenger now. Yao Lao waved his hand and pointed to Mu Gu, saying, let's put away the body of Do Zun Chang. Maybe it will be useful in the future. I don't know what's going on with the teacher, but if the Mu Gu old man calls the Soul Hall powerhouse, then. Han Feng sat on a huge stone in the valley, his face full of worry. Is Fenger worried about the teacher? Yao Lao appeared beside Han Feng with a smile and patted his shoulder, sighing, that Mu Gu is not difficult to deal with. It's just that he's been targeted by this strange force in the Soul Hall, which makes people feel a bit uneasy. Yes, but our master and disciple are not any soft persimmons. Han Feng breathed a sigh of relief and smiled, Master Medicine Venerable. You kid. Upon hearing this, Yao Lao shook his head, and Feng Er began to tease him. Indeed, the title of Medicine Venerable is still very useful in this Douqi Continent. Fenger, what are your next plans? End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Conversion of Martial Arts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Conversion of Martial Arts. Fenger, what are your next plans? Upon hearing Yao Lao's question, Han Feng also answered seriously, I need to first practice burning Ju and then go find the strange fire. Teacher, this burning will be able to devour strange fires, and it should also be able to devour beast fires. We can try using several types of beast fires first. Is that your idea? Upon hearing this, Yao Lao frowned slightly and said in a deep voice, you should know that the Fenju technique is different. At the beginning, the level was only lower than the yellow level. Even if you can evolve, who can guarantee the success rate of evolution? And what you are currently practicing is the middle level technique of the earth level, which needs to dissipate your fighting spirit from high to low. If you are not careful, you may have to start practicing from scratch. Are you really prepared? Well, I have made up my mind. With the teacher around, I could try this strange burning Ju. Han Feng nodded and said, Teacher, with your eyesight, you should also be able to see the extraordinary aspects of the burning Ju technique. The technique that can evolve has probably never been heard of in the entire Douqi Continent. If she couldn't cultivate this skill, Fenger would probably regret it for life. Since Han Feng had said so, Yao Lao could only nod helplessly and then said with a serious expression, I will first refine some pills for you, which can help you maintain most of your fighting spirit when you switch martial arts. But this kind of pill can also bring you great pain, which you must bear. Otherwise, how can you bear the pain of devouring the strange fire? As the medicine master, the medicine elder already has many pills in his heart that are suitable for Han Feng's situation. Changing cultivation methods is common in the Douqi Continent, but it is a minority to change from high to low. The 8th grade pill, Anti-Chi Condensing Soul Pill, can help users maintain most of their fighting energy by using this pill if they fall from the state of backfire. With a few 7th grade pills as a supplement, it can at least stabilize Maple's strength in the 7-star Fighting King. Yao Lao had a grudge in his heart, but he didn't stay any longer. He left behind a sentence. He returned to the cave where he usually refined pills, and the cold fire of the bone spirit in the black magic cauldron kept churning. This valley was accidentally found by a medicinal expert. The energy of heaven and earth inside is rich, and there are also many rare medicinal herbs growing. It is a good place for alchemists to hide. So, Yao Lao built a small wooden house in the valley and lived with Han Feng in this valley. 1 month later, today is Han Feng's 20th birthday, which is also his first day of transitioning to the practice of burning. As for which day Han Feng's birthday is, Yao Lao is not sure, so he can only designate the day he takes Han Feng as his disciple as Han Feng's birthday. On that day, Yao Lao took Han Feng out of the ruins, accepted him as a disciple, and regarded him as his own successor. And Han Feng did not disappoint Yao Lao either. His cultivation and refining talents were extremely excellent, let alone Yao Lao's teachings. Now, Han Feng's position in the refining world is not low. Fenger, are you ready? Yao Lao's face was solemn as he looked at Han Feng sitting on the ice lotus and said in a deep voice, if there is any accident when converting the martial arts, don't hesitate, just give up the burning decision. Compared to the bizarre technique of burning to death, the teacher hopes you can be safe. Upon hearing this, Han Feng nodded and said, Teacher, don't worry, Feng Er has a clear idea. The ice lotus sitting under him also has an extraordinary origin, which was exchanged by the old medicine practitioner for a 7th grade pill from an alchemist's hand. The function of ice lotus is to lock in the energy of the surrounding heaven and earth, allowing Han Feng to store the fighting energy in his body when converting martial arts. Being mentally prepared, Han Feng took a deep breath and his fingerprint changed. The fighting spirit, which was originally operating normally in the meridians according to the cultivation method, instantly erupted into chaos. The first step is to dispel the fighting spirit in his body. If Han Feng wants to practice burning decision now, he can only give up the previous cultivation method, and the fighting spirit in his body naturally needs to be changed. It really hurts. Han Feng gritted his teeth tightly, his meridians twisted due to the chaos of his fighting spirit. The crimson blood overflowed from Han Feng's pores, making the old medicine practitioner who was watching Han Feng feel very worried. Since Feng Er became his disciple, he had never experienced such hardship. The second step is to take the anti-qi condensing soul pill refined by the medicine elder, which can greatly preserve Han Feng's fighting spirit in his body. Due to the intense pain, Han Feng's consciousness became drowsy, and his hand picking up the pill couldn't stop trembling. As soon as the anti-qi condensing soul pill was taken out of the jade bottle, the rich fragrance of the pill spread out. Smelling this fragrance, Han Feng's spirit was shaken and he instantly became clear and awake. I must become the Emperor Do, otherwise, wouldn't I have come to this Douqi Continent in vain? I can't embarrass the travelers. Thinking of this, Han Feng's face remained firm, as he delivered a pill the size of a dragon's eye into his mouth, and then forcefully controlled the remaining fighting energy in his body to operate according to the path of the burning technique. The time required to convert from the earth-level cultivation method to the yellow-level cultivation method was not long. In 1 hour, the cultivation method practiced by Han Feng was transformed into the burning decision. As for the pain he experienced, only Han Feng knew it himself. And his realm naturally began to decline with the transformation of his cultivation methods. If he were to transform from a low-level cultivation method to a high-level cultivation method, his own strength would not be affected. However, if he were to transform from a high-level cultivation method to a low-level cultivation method, the cost would be considerable. However, at this moment, the anti-qi condensing soul pill came into play, injecting pure energy into Han Feng's body one by one, preventing his realm from falling. You can solidify your internal fighting spirit, so even if you fall to the level of Do Wang, it won't have a significant impact. Han Feng briefly pondered in his heart, and the cultivation of fighting spirit requires repeated trials and tribulations. Otherwise, your fighting spirit will be empty and your combat power will even be much weaker than those of the same level. Moreover, what he is currently using is the lower-level Huangjia burning Ju. If the quality of his fighting spirit is not guaranteed, then just do as you say. Although his fighting spirit changed, Han Feng still had a proud soul power. Using soul power to assist with burning, he quickly compressed his fighting spirit several times. Is it over? Yao Lao frowned and murmured, "It shouldn't be. The transformation of the cultivation should have ended long ago. Is there a problem with Fenger? Alas, it's really worrying. I knew I wouldn't agree with Fenger's practice of burning Ju. Yao Lao sighed, feeling the decline of Han Feng's realm. Even with his refined anti-qi condensing soul pill, Han Feng's strength had dropped from a 3-star emperor to a 1-star emperor. This is an 8th grade pill. Without the assistance of pills, it is estimated that Han Feng's strength may drop to the level of Douqi if he switches his martial arts this time. What should I say when I switch from earth-level cultivation to yellow-level cultivation? Fenger really has courage. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Devouring Beast Fire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Devouring Beast Fire. Teacher, my martial arts have been converted. Han Feng stood up from the ice lotus, and his current state had fallen to the peak of Douqi. Feeling Han Feng's current strength, Yao Lao also had some doubts in his heart and asked, Fenger, with the anti-qi and soul consolidating pill, how could you still fall to the Douqi realm? Upon hearing this, Han Feng smiled helplessly and explained, Teacher, this burning decision is only a low-level Huang level skill. If I don't gather a few more internal fights, how can my combat power be comparable to that of a strong opponent of the same level? Now I have compressed the Dou Emperor's fighting spirit to the Dou King level. Even if I practice the yellow level technique, my strength will not be weaker than that of the Dou King who has practiced the high level technique. So that's it, that's good. Yao Lao nodded and smiled, not bad. The teacher was also worried that you would lose your true intention in the face of power, and you did a good job. I really don't know if practicing burning will is good or bad, but the teacher wants to tell you one thing. Always stick to your original intention, and it is not advisable to give up the future for temporary gain. Upon hearing what Yao Lao said, Han Feng also answered seriously, Feng Air has been taught. Alright, don't go into too much detail. As long as Maple has a clear idea, Yao Lao waved his hand and several jade bottles were suspended in front of Han Feng. This is the beast fire that the teacher found for you. Fenger is very right. This burning can definitely devour different fires, and naturally it can also devour beast fires. It can merge different fires, and naturally it can also merge beast fires. Fenger, take a break before moving on to the next step. With your soul power, it's not difficult to forcibly refine these types of beast fires. When the time comes, let the teacher see if this burning decision can evolve. Okay. Han Feng took the jade bottle and set it aside. The old medicine man took out 3 types of beast fires, which were taken from the 6th level demon beast red flame python, fire spirit swallow, and demon flame tiger king's body. At the same time, Yao Lao also prepared some pills for Han Feng to assist in refining beast fire, the 6th grade pill Ice Heart Jade Spirit pill, and some 5th grade pills. For current Yao Lao, refining these pills is not difficult. If in good condition, Yao Zun can even refine some 9th grade pills. After resting for a while, Han Feng looked at the pill in his hand and couldn't help but feel a sigh in his heart. The cultivation conditions were simply excellent. Even a person with mediocre talent would probably be nurtured by the medicine elder to become a famous powerhouse in the mainland. Taking the Ice Heart Jade Spirit pill, the gentle medicinal power spread through Han Feng's body. He could clearly feel the layers of protection in his meridians, which could protect Han Feng from the damage of flames while refining beast fire. Of course, devouring flames also requires a very important item, the spirit, which only exists in advanced stones and is very rare. However, for the medicine lord, wanting this spirit is just a message. As long as the medicine elder speaks up, many strong people will come to exchange with the naring in their hands. After all, the pills in the medicine elder's hand are enough to attract most of the strong people above Zhongzhou. Han Feng looked at the naring in the jade bottle. The appearance of the naring was like a blue water droplet, but when he held it in his hand, it looked like a common small stone. It was hard to imagine that just such a small thing was actually a rare naring. The first thing to devour flames is to refine the spirit, and then store the flames in the spirit. Han Feng sent the naring into his mouth, then wrapped it in fighting spirit and carefully delivered it to his lower abdomen. Subsequently, a surging soul power poured into the naring, leaving his own soul imprint inside. Fortunately, Han Feng is a 6th-grade alchemist with powerful soul power. Otherwise, the step of refining and absorbing spirits would require a lot of effort. It didn't take long for Han Feng to completely integrate naring into his body. Under Han Feng's control, a suction force was transmitted from naring. Later, the beast fire inside Han Feng's body was absorbed by nailing and entered. This beast fire has always been used by Han Feng and has a high affinity, so there is no resistance against Han Feng. The beast fire of the 7th Order warcraft swallowing the sea whale was easily sent into the naring by Han Feng, and how could the other 6th Order warcraft's beast fires be laborious? However, Han Feng did not show any carelessness. First, he integrated the beast fire of the red flame python into his body, stripped off the fire seed, and used soul power to suppress it. Finally, under the escort of the swallowing whale beast fire, he entered the naring spirit. During this period, the beast fire of the red flame python also tried to resist, but did not play a significant role. In the end, he could only obediently be devoured and refined. Oh. The fight between beasts and fires is also very surprising. Han Feng noticed the reactions of 2 types of beast fires in nailing, slightly raising his eyebrows but not feeling surprised. The beast fire of the sea-swallowing giant whale is stronger than that of the red burning python, so it is not surprising that the beast fire of the red burning python was swallowed up, and other types of animal fires are also made in the same way. Teacher, I succeeded. This is the beast fire that was consumed until the end. Han Feng extended his finger and a deep blue flame danced on it, possibly due to devouring several other animal fires. The color of the current flame has changed from light blue to deep blue. Not bad, the beast fires devour each other, and the power of the flames produced in the end is not to be underestimated. Yao Lao stroked his beard and nodded with a smile, saying, "Next, we need to use burning decision to devour this flame. By the way, before that, you should give this flame a name." "Is it a name?" This fire is mainly composed of the beast fire that swallows sea whales, with a dark blue color. Han Feng looked at the flickering flames on his fingers and chuckled, "That's all, let's call it Yuhaian." Yuhaian, alright, let's use Fenju to devour the flames. Don't worry, if there's a mistake, the teacher will take action. Yao Lao also felt nervous after a long time. If Fenju cannot evolve, it will probably bring a considerable blow to Feng. With the teacher present, Fenger is completely not worried. Han Feng nodded slightly and then sat cross-legged on the ice lotus. Guiding the flames in his body to start running along the burning route, his fighting spirit gradually began to merge with the flames. Han Feng could feel that the burning technique had begun to evolve, as the quality of his fighting spirit steadily began to improve. Sure enough, Fenju can evolve, and this technique did not disappoint me. Han Feng's lips curved into a smile, and his fighting spirit color completely transformed into deep blue, with blue flames dancing in his eyes. With the elixir of the old medicine, Han Feng didn't even suffer much and easily allowed Fenju to complete his evolution. Teacher, it's a success. The practice of burning to death can indeed evolve. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. News of Haixin Flame. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 News of Haixin Flame, that's good. Upon hearing Han Feng's words, the old medicine practitioner breathed a sigh of relief and carefully examined Han Feng's body to prevent any lingering effects of devouring flames. Okay, that's great. The burning Jew is indeed wonderful, devouring these types of beast fires. The burning Jew has now reached the yellow level advanced level, and with the special nature of this technique, it is probably not weaker than some lower level mystical techniques. After checking Han Feng's body, Yao Lao finally relaxed. Fortunately, Feng Air didn't have any accidents, which also proves that the potential of the burning technique is infinite, and Feng Air's future achievements will be immeasurable. Feng, let's stop here for today. Haste makes waste, you need to rest. Yao Lao patted Han Feng's shoulder and said with a smile. Okay, Feng, listen to the teacher. Han Feng nodded, hesitated for a moment, and said, Teacher, Feng has one more thing to tell you. What? What does Feng want to say? Yao Lao looked a bit surprised. Since there is no problem with the burning decision, I will also start searching for news about the abnormal fire. Only by truly devouring the abnormal fire can I test the effect of this burning decision. Han Feng said, could you please help me search for news about the 15th ranked sea heart flame on the abnormal fire list? I don't know why, but I have some longing for this abnormal fire. Haixin. Yao Lao frowned slightly and then said in a deep voice, actually, the teacher has been searching for news about the abnormal fire for you. Currently, the only confirmed news is the falling heart inflammation from Haixin College. Moreover, this falling heart inflammation is likely to be extremely important to Haixin Academy. If we were to become enemies with Haixin Academy, it would likely have a significant impact on the reputation of our teachers and disciples. Teacher, let's first search for information about Haixin flame. The abnormal fire of Haixin Academy cannot be forcibly taken away, and Feng already has a concern in her heart. Han Feng smiled and said. Hee, you child has become quite mysterious. Anyway, the teacher will search for news about the sea heart flame for you. Yao nodded with a smile, but in fact, he had some understanding of the sea heart flame. This strange flame only exists in the depths of the sea and is guarded by the Sea Clan, which is a bit tricky. However, for the sake of Han Feng, these things are nothing in front of the Medicine Lord. If it's not a big deal, he will call some friends to go to the depths of the sea. Okay, then please ask the teacher. In the wooden house, Han Feng sat cross-legged on the bed, and energy from heaven and earth poured continuously into his body. However, because the level of his cultivation was not very high, the speed of absorbing energy from heaven and earth was not very fast. Alas, after practicing Burning Ju, I can be considered to have seized Xiao Yan's opportunity. After a while, Han Feng sighed and withdrew from his cultivation state. After practicing Burning Ju, he also felt some guilt towards Xiao Yan in his heart. However, the matter of cultivation was originally a struggle with heaven and people. He has now opened up a god's perspective, so naturally he will not let go of this advantage. As for Xiao Yan, he will take action to protect the Xiao family. If possible, he would also send Xiao Yan to the heavenly tomb to meet Xiao Xian, but the prerequisite for all of this is that he can obtain the Tuasha ancient emperor jade of the Xiao family. Anyway, Han Feng wouldn't let the Soul clan easily gather all the ancient jade. Another month later, Yao Lao brought news of Haixin Yen to Han Feng. Haixin flame, born in the deep sea, is surrounded by sea creatures for protection. I don't know why, before, there had never been any news about the strange fire of Haixin flame, but after Han Feng asked the medicine elder to search for Haixin flame, the news of this strange fire spread instantly. Of course, not many people have learned about the news of Haixin flame. Yao Lao also used pills to seal the mouths of those people, otherwise, if multiple people were to argue, it would inevitably lead to accidents. And those who have learned about the news of Haixin are also willing to sell the medicine lord to save face. After all, the few Dozun powerhouses standing behind the medicine lord are not vegetarians. If you offend the medicine lord, it is estimated that there will be no place for these people in Zhongzhou. Who is so kind of person who has reached this level of cultivation? They knew that if they were to disobey the medicine lord, the consequences would be very serious. Therefore, it's better to stop and hold the medicine lord's pill and pretend to be mute. If they were to compete for the flame, most of them would fall here. Douqi Continent is already revered by the strong, and the medicine lord has a big fist. His words are just right. So, under the covert operation of Yao Lao, Haixin's message was blocked very well. Is there news so soon? Han Feng's face was full of astonishment. Is Ihua such an easy thing to find? Looking at Yao Lao with an excited expression on his face, Han Feng also had an answer in his heart. He could only shake his head in his heart. It seemed that Haixin really had a connection with Han Feng. Fenger, you told the teacher a few days ago that you wanted to find the 15th ranked sea heart flame on the strange fire list. The teacher also felt a headache. Yao Lao's eyes furrowed with a smile and he said, strange fires are already difficult to find. You have pointed out the type of strange fire, which is like fishing for a needle in the sea. But the teacher only sent people to explore the deep sea and found the traces of Haixin flame. The teacher has set up the space passage to the deep sea at the Star Meteor Pavilion. As long as you are ready, we will immediately go and subdue this sea heart flame. At this point, Yao Lao was clearly excited and said with a smile, this Haixin flame is just right for you. With the help of the teacher, it won't be difficult to tame Haixin flame. Indeed, the fallen heart flame of Canaan Academy ranks 14th on the strange fire list, which can be suppressed by flipping hands for Dozuan Chang. The 15th ranked sea heart flame should be effortless for Yao Lao. It's not too late, teacher. Let's start now. Han Feng's face also smiled, and with the help of Yao Lao, it was not difficult to subdue Haixin. The gears of fate began to rotate. After devouring the sea heart flame, he went to the Black Horn domain, at least to maintain a good relationship with Canaan Academy. If possible, he would take the falling heart flame. By the way, don't forget Xian. She is the Dragon Emperor of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Clan, and having a good relationship with her is both beneficial and harmful. Moreover, Xian herself is a very lovely little girl. Then, he will go to the Gamma Empire, take the heart fire of Qinglian Earth and meet Queen Medusa of the Snake Clan. Also, the most important thing is Xiao Yan. Han Feng is actually curious about what changes will happen to Xiao Yan's life. After all, there is no old medicine to absorb Xiao Yan's fighting spirit now. Without any accidents, Xiao Yan will always be the genius of the Xiao family. Anyway, with the help of Sun Air, Xiao Yan's final achievements will not be too bad. Teacher, let's go and subdue Haixin flame now. Fenger is looking forward to it now. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Disciples of the Wind Venerable. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Disciples of the Wind Venerable. Han Feng followed Yao Lao to the Star Meteor Pavilion, and the distribution of power in Zhongzhou can be described in one sentence. 1 hall, 1 tower, 2 sects, 3 valleys, and 4 pavilions. And Star Meteor Pavilion is one of the 4 directions pavilion. Fenger is here. Don't be too shy. You are the young master of Xingqie Pavilion. Feng Zun looked at Han Feng and smiled. As for the master of Xingqie Pavilion, he is naturally your teacher. So, Star Meteor Pavilion is your own power, and no matter when, Star Meteor Pavilion is your solid backing. Ah, you old man. You know I don't like managing things, but you still leave the head of the Star Meteor Pavilion to me. Yao Lao smiled helplessly, but did not refuse the position of the head of the pavilion. For him, it doesn't matter whether the owner of the Star Meteor Pavilion is there or not, but there is still Maple. As a teacher, he wants to establish a reliable force for Maple. I'm talking to Fenger, why are you interrupting me? The Wind Venerable pursed his lips and let out the little girl behind him, introducing him. This is my disciple named Mu Qinghuan, who comes from the Warcraft Qinghuan clan and has excellent talent. In my opinion, she is the most suitable disciple to inherit my legacy. Anyway, I only accepted this disciple. As the Wind Venerable's words fell, the little girl named Mu Qinghuan smiled and said, Teacher, I am praising you falsely. It is also Qinghuan's blessing that Qinghuan can worship you as his teacher. The Qinghuan clan respects the Wind Master very much. Now that I am learning from you, it is likely to make many young people in the clan feel jealous. It's quite sweet. Yao Lao also smiled. Now that he and Feng Zun have disciples, they have some elderly hearts. So, Yao Lao took out a jade bottle from the ring and put it in Mu Qinghuan's hand, saying, "Child, this pill is very good for you." Mu Qinghuan did not accept the pill, but turned his head to look at Feng Zun, with a hint of inquiry in his eyes. "Take it, this is a pill from the medicine lord. Of course, you don't need to be polite to him." The Wind Lord nodded and pointed at Han Feng, saying, "This is a disciple of the medicine lord, named Han Feng. Like me, the medicine master only has one disciple. He is now able to refine 6th grade pills at a young age. Being friendly with him brings endless benefits." After speaking, Feng Zun blinked at Han Feng, looking like a child. Upon hearing what Feng Zun said, Yao Lao nodded and then carefully looked at Mu Qinghuan. The little girl is very durable, and I don't know if Feng Er will like it." "No, why do I think so? Am I really getting old?" Shaking his head, Yao Lao looked at Mu Qinghuan with a kind gaze and said softly, "There will still be common topics between you young people. Your teacher and I have something to do, and Feng Er will entrust you with these 2 days. To ensure safety, Yao Lao needs to check the space passage. His personality is inherently cautious. If he is the only one, there is no need to worry even if there is a problem with the space passage. But if you bring Feng Er, Yao Lao must ensure that there are no problems with the space passage to the deep sea. As a medicine lord, one cannot bring their disciples to capsize in the sewer, can they? 2 days is enough time, and in fact, Yao Lao has also considered taking Han Feng directly into the space passage. However, the space passage to the deep sea is somewhat special, and Yao Lao can only reinforce it once to prevent accidents during use. "Senior brother Han Feng, can I call you that?" Mu Qinghuan still looked timid, holding the corner of his clothes in his hand, looking full of protective desire. "Of course, my teacher and your teacher are close friends, so naturally we should get along well." Han Feng smiled and said, "You've only recently become a disciple of Feng Lao, so it's not impossible for you to call me senior brother. By the way, you called me senior brother. As a senior brother, how could you not give your junior sister a meeting gift?" Han Feng calculated the time and apologetically said, "But time is not very abundant now. Let me first refine a 4th grade pill for you." Although his strength has fallen to the realm of Do Wang, Han Feng's soul power has not declined at all. He still has the ability to refine 6th grade pills. Of course, with his current fighting spirit, he may need to rest for half a day after refining a 6th grade pill. No, senior brother, don't bother. I just received the pill from the medicine lord." Upon hearing this, Mu Qinghuan shook her head and whispered. The current Mu Qinghuan has just become a disciple of Feng Zun, so her behavior is still somewhat restrained. She is dressed in a green robe, with a delicate small face, and looks like a fallen fairy. Of course, it is largely because the demeanor of this Mu Qinghuan is similar to that of the Wind Venerable, both of which have a slight sense of elegance. How can this be done? What the teacher gave you is from the teacher, and what the senior brother gave you is from the senior brother. Han Feng smiled and walked side by side with Mu Qinghuan, still able to smell the fragrance from each other. "Let's go and say hello to Feng Lao first, and then we'll go to the medicinal material storage warehouse of Xing Meteor Pavilion. Although I want to refine this 4th grade pill for you now, after all, a clever woman cannot cook without rice." Upon hearing what senior brother Han Feng said, Mu Qinghuan could only nod. To be honest, he really wanted to watch this senior brother Han Feng refine medicine. Well, how to put it, there was a pleasant medicinal fragrance coming from senior brother Han Feng, which made people feel very comfortable. For Mu Qinghuan, the first time we met, senior brother Han Feng was very likable. Moreover, as an alchemist, senior brother Han Feng was also very generous in his actions. As soon as we met, he prepared to refine a 4th grade pill for her, which made Mu Qinghuan even more delighted in his heart. A while ago, she came to the Star Meteor Pavilion under the guidance of the Wind Master. In this Star Meteor Pavilion, Mu Qinghuan did not have any familiar people, which made her originally lively and quiet. But now I have met senior brother Han Feng. Moreover, she just heard the teacher say that senior brother Han Feng can now refine the 6th grade pill. What is this talent for refining medicine? He is truly a disciple of the medicine lord. A 6th grade alchemist, even if placed in her clan, is enough to be honored as a distinguished guest. More importantly, senior brother Han Feng's age doesn't seem much different from hers, but their strength is vastly different. Mu Qinghuan is also considered a leader among the younger generation of the Qinghuan clan. Now that he has come to the Star Meteor Pavilion and met senior brother Han Feng, he understands the truth that there are people outside of us, and there are heavens outside of us. In fact, the fact that Mu Qinghuan was valued by the Wind Venerable and accepted as a disciple made him feel very proud. Then Qinghuan would like to thank senior brother Han Feng for his kindness, Mu Qinghuan said with a playful smile. If senior brother Han Feng needs help, you can come to Qinghuan. Qinghuan will definitely not refuse. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. One Furnace of Double Pills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. One Furnace of Double Pills. Holding the token of the Wind Venerable, Han Feng followed Mu Qinghuan to the medicinal herb storage in the Star Meteor Pavilion. The variety of medicinal herbs stored in the medicinal library is very rich, which made Han Feng a bit dazzled. The pill that Han Feng is preparing to refine is called Qingxin Humai Dan, a 4th grade pill that is very helpful for cultivation. Many major powers will prepare this kind of pill for their own disciples, which can effectively improve their cultivation speed and is not cumbersome to refine. Basically, the success rate of each 4th grade alchemist refining this pill can be maintained at 70%. Han Feng is very familiar with this heart-clearing and pulse-protecting pill. The pharmacist often asks him to refine and use this pill, so Han Feng's success rate in refining this pill can be stable at 90%. After all, it was to refine pills for Qinghuan Jr. sister, so Han Feng naturally had to choose the most successful Qingxin Humai pill. During this period, while practicing, Han Feng did not forget the cultivation of the medicine refining technique. He had already inherited all the memories of the original Han Feng, including the medicine refining technique. A pharmacy in the Star Meteor Pavilion may have been commissioned by the Wind Venerable. Many elders of the Star Meteor Pavilion have now learned that Han Feng is the young master of the Star Meteor Pavilion. Throughout history, Feng Zun has served as the manager of the Star Meteor Pavilion, and the position of the Pavilion Master is undoubtedly reserved for the Medicine Elder. Regarding this, Yao Lao did not shirk his responsibility. Anyway, he is just a hands-off shopkeeper. Senior brother Han Feng, is there anything else you need to prepare? Mu Qinghuan placed all the medicinal herbs on the stone platform and lit a furnace of incense. This is just a 4th grade pill, there's no need for such trouble. Han Feng smiled awkwardly as he looked at the dark golden medicine cauldron in front of him, his face full of helplessness. Han Feng originally planned to randomly search for a secret room to refine pills, but Mu Qinghuan disagreed. She believed that refining pills was a labor-intensive task and that preparations must be made. This incense was also brought by Mu Qinghuan from her tribe. She really likes the taste of this incense. When Mu Qinghuan is in a bad mood, she will light a furnace of incense. Of course, this incense is made from many advanced medicinal herbs, which have a refreshing and calming effect, and the fragrance will not dissipate for a long time. Well, the scent of this incense is very similar to that of Mu Qinghuan. Han Feng sat in front of the medicine cauldron, and after smelling the fragrance, his mind became more focused. Stimulating his internal fighting spirit, Han Feng held a revitalization pill in his mouth. His current level of burning is yellow level advanced. If his fighting spirit is insufficient during the refining process, it will be embarrassing. Perhaps Han Feng was too cautious sitting cross-legged in front of the medicine cauldron. Han Feng first adjusted his state, then reached out his hand, and a deep blue flame was thrown into the cauldron. Subsequently, Han Feng threw various medicinal herbs into the cauldron, and as soon as they entered the cauldron, they were enveloped in flames and refined into a 7-colored liquid. The refining went very smoothly this time. Han Feng breathed a sigh of relief after throwing the magic core and the last medicinal herb into the cauldron. Fortunately, nothing unexpected happened, otherwise he would have lost face. Looking at the remaining medicinal herb for refining the Qingxin and Mai pill, Han Feng's eyes flickered. After a brief moment of contemplation, his soul power doubled and poured into the medicine cauldron, forcibly dividing the space inside into 2. Subsequently, in order to prevent insufficient fighting energy in his body, Han Feng swallowed the revitalization pill in his mouth. Soon, the medicinal power of the revitalization pill transformed into pure fighting energy flowing through Han Feng's meridians. Shouldn't senior brother Han Feng have finished refining now? Mu Qinghuan tilted her head in some confusion. She had also watched the alchemists worshipped in the clan refine medicine. Normally, it's already the last step to complete the pill. Why didn't senior brother Han Feng lower the temperature of the flames in the medicine cauldron? Old man, Fenger's talent for refining medicine is really outstanding. Feng Zun guessed Han Feng's next move and also smiled. Upon hearing this, Yao Lao proudly straightened his chest and smiled, saying, Fenger is my disciple, and this furnace of double pills will naturally not defeat him. Yao Lao and Feng Zun stood outside the door, and the two of them did not enter to disturb Han Feng's alchemy. Moreover, behind these two stood several elders from the Star Meteor Pavilion. A furnace of double pills. The young master's talent for refining medicine is really excellent, said an elder with a smile. That's natural. Fenger is now a 6th-grade alchemist, and it doesn't put much pressure on him to refine 2 4th-grade pills at the same time. Yao Lao's hands were behind his back, and his tone was flat as he said these words that widened the eyes of the elders of the Star Meteor Pavilion. Perhaps this is the old man's heart. If it were himself, Yao Lao could maintain his dignity, but if he praised Han Feng in front of him, Yao Lao would feel proud from the bottom of his heart. I didn't expect that the young master is now a 6th-grade alchemist, truly a disciple of the master. Another elder sighed, and they naturally knew that the master of the Star Meteor Pavilion was this medicine lord. Han Feng's alchemy was not over, and Mu Qinghuan dared not disturb him, so he could only suppress his doubts. At the same time, Han Feng was ready and reached out to throw several other medicinal herbs and magic cores into the medicine cauldron. The cauldron had already reached 2 different temperatures, with the left side forming pills and the right side just beginning to refine. Closing his eyes, Han Feng urged his soul power to control the temperature of the flames. It was important for him to take it seriously if he wanted the flames inside a medicine cauldron to maintain 2 completely different temperatures. As time passed, Han Feng's second pill also gradually took shape. The previous Qingxin Humai pill had been successfully refined and put into a jade bottle by Han Feng. Dancheng. Han Feng opened his eyes and patted the medicine cauldron. A blue pill popped out and fell into the jade bottle. Looking at the 2 pills inside the jade bottle, Han Feng nodded slightly. Both of these heart-clearing and pulse-protecting pills were of superior quality. Qinghuan Junior Sister, this pill is given to you as a gift for senior brother's meeting. Han Feng raised the jade bottle in his hand and threw it at Mu Qinghuan with a fighting spirit. After all, Mu Qinghuan is a disciple of Feng Zun, and he still has to take care of 1 or 2. Thank you, senior brother Han Feng. Mu Qinghuan took the jade vase, his face full of joy. At this moment, the medicine elder and the wind venerable also walked in with the elder of the Star Meteor Pavilion. Fenger, a furnace of double pills, done well. Yao Lao never begrudges his own praise. Children need encouragement, let alone Han Feng's refining this time, which was already excellent. Qinghuan, how are you getting along with Fenger? Feng Zun smiled softly. He and Yao are close friends, and naturally hopes that their disciples can also get along well. If possible, he and Yao Lao even want to match the two of them. Of course, it's too early now. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Deep in the Sea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Deep in the Sea. Teacher, Han Feng said as he saw the medicine elder and the wind venerable walking in, can we start now? Hee, you're really anxious. Yao Lao smiled and shook his head, then sighed in his heart. Indeed, he was even more excited than Han Feng when he heard the news of Bone Spirit Cold Fire earlier. In comparison, Han Feng was still quite stable. Teacher, senior brother Han Feng is like a master of medicine refining. Mu Qinghuan ran to Feng Zun with some excitement and said in an exaggerated tone, senior brother Han Feng's refining of 4th grade pills is like flowing clouds and flowing water. Watching it is simply a pleasure. Upon hearing Mu Qinghuan's words, Han Feng inexplicably felt embarrassed. He hesitated for a moment and whispered, Junior sister Qinghuan, stop talking. Haha, it seems that Fenger can't handle Qinghuan. Feng Zun laughed a few times, and he hadn't seen Han Feng make such an embarrassed posture in a long time. Teacher, how could you say that? As if realizing what she had said, Mu Qinghuan's face instantly turned red with embarrassment, and she lowered her head to hide behind the wind venerable. With the eye of the wind venerable, it is natural to see that Han Feng has changed his cultivation method. Moreover, associating with the medicine elder and Han Feng's search for various types of abnormal fires, the wind venerable has already guessed what Han Feng's current cultivation method will be. Burning down. I never expected that Yao Lao would agree to Han Feng's cultivation of this skill. If it were him, he would never allow his disciples to take this risk. If it were to burn the boat, it would be fine, but now with him and the medicine elder, he can completely provide an excellent cultivation environment and foundation for Han Feng. Why bother practicing that burning decision? However, if this is Fenger's decision, then he can only do his best to help Fenger search for the strange fire. The space passage is ready, let's go, Yao Lao smiled. It's the right thing to retrieve the sea heart flame first. Let's talk about other things later. Well, I will guard outside to ensure the stability of the space passage. Feng Zun nodded and said, as for the medicinal herbs you mentioned, I have already sent someone to search for them. Hee, it's not urgent. Yao Lao waved his hand and looked at Han Feng, saying, actually, the teacher originally planned to bring Haixin back alone, but on second thought, if you have seen the birthplace of Haixin, it should be helpful for you to tame the strange fire. Although the teacher can forcefully help you tame Haixin, in the long run, it is better for you to tame the strange fire alone. Abnormal fire is a spiritual thing, and if it is forcibly suppressed, it will damage its spirituality. If Han Feng could gain recognition from Haixin on his own, then there would be endless benefits. I know what the teacher means, Han Feng nodded and said in a deep voice, I won't let the teacher down. Don't worry, the teacher will prepare some pills for you. Anyway, Haixin flame is a genuine exotic fire. If you are not careful, even Douhuang will be burned to ashes. Don't be careless. Yao Lao has already sent people to search for the ice spirit cold spring and the heavenly cold qi. These two items can suppress the power of the strange fire. Moreover, he needs to refine several pills for Han Feng to protect his body from the harm of the strange fire. The 15th ranked Ihua, to be honest, is just right for the current Han Feng. On the back mountain of the Star Meteor Pavilion, a pitch-black space wormhole slowly spins around. Although it is only a temporary space passage, with the repeated reinforcement of Yao Lao, this space wormhole has become extremely stable and can even be taken out for trading. Fenger, hold the teacher's hand. With the teacher present, we don't need to use the spaceship. Although Han Feng has grown up now, for Yao Lao, he has always been a child who has not grown up. Good teacher, Han Feng nodded and walked into the wormhole of the space with Yao Lao. Looking at the backs of Han Feng and Yao Lao, Mu Qinghuan clenched the jade bottle in her hand. She thought it was very comfortable to get along with Han Feng's senior brother, otherwise it would be impossible to bring out her precious incense. Have you taken a liking to Feng Er, that kid? Feng Zun glanced at Mu Qinghuan and smiled. Indeed, Feng Er was a good child whom we watched grow up with. The Wind Venerable sighed in his heart. Fortunately, Feng Er did not disappoint them. Faced with Mu Gu's temptation, it was normal to have inappropriate thoughts. After all, Han Feng was not deeply involved in the world. As long as he stopped at the cliff and did not betray his teacher in the end, he could be forgiven. I don't have it, teacher. Don't tease me, this is the first time I've met senior brother Han Feng. Mu Qinghuan looked a bit hesitant, and after spending these days together, she also knew what kind of personality Feng Zun is. Therefore, in front of Feng Zun, she was like a spoiled little girl. But I really didn't expect that senior brother Han Feng was so young, and his alchemy was already so exquisite. The 4th grade pill he just refined had a very natural movement. I have only seen this kind of composure in the master alchemist. So it's like this, Qinghuan, practice well. Your talent is also very good. At the Xifang Pavilion Conference, you still need to represent our Star Meteor Pavilion in battle. Feng Zun put his hand on Mu Qinghuan's head and said. Ha! Why is it me? Isn't senior brother Han Feng more suitable? Mu Qinghuan asked with some confusion. He, Maple, like that old guy, is not good at any management. When the time comes, you will still be in charge of the Star Meteor Pavilion. Feng Zun shook his head helplessly. Now that Han Feng has practiced the Burning Dew, he probably will search for strange flames everywhere. How could he stay in the Star Meteor Pavilion? Is that so? Qinghuan knows now. On the other hand, Yao Lao and Han Feng spent about 2 days inside the space passage before seeing the exit of the space passage. A dazzling light flickered, and Han Feng instinctively closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he and Yao Lao arrived at a small island. There were 2 middle-aged people on the island, and Han Feng could feel the terrifying aura emanating from them. Obviously, these are 2 powerful individuals at the Dozuan level. Thank you very much. Afterwards, I will send someone to deliver the rewards to both of you. Yao Lao arched his hand and smiled. The 2 of us naturally trust the Medicine Lord. These 2 middle-aged people also bowed in response, speaking in a respectful tone. Since the Medicine Lord has already arrived, then our brothers will take people back to Zhongzhou. These people are invited by Yao Lao to come and watch Haixin, to avoid being overtaken by others. After all these people left through the space passage, Yao Lao was also very cautious in creating a space blockade to prevent outsiders from entering. Feng Er, now the teacher will take you to explore the depths of the sea. Yao Lao's eyes flickered with white flames, and through the bone spirit cold fire, he could feel the sea heart flame deep in the sea. As the words fell, Yao Lao protected Han Feng with his bone spirit and cold fire, and then the 2 of them jumped into the sea together. End of this chapter.